Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I want to personally welcome every one of you here today. Someone's giving me the hold on. Okay, are we good? Fantastic. All right, well, I want to welcome every one of you to the celebration of life from which we met 25 years ago. My life changed. I gained a brother. Is that a little louder? Okay. I not only gained a brother, but I gained an extended family. Many of you are kind of wondering who I am. Sam joined our family as an exchange student 25 years ago. Yes, it's been 25 years. That means we're all getting old. But through that, like I said, I gained not only the best brother I could ask for, but also a mother, and an extended family, all of you. So I'm very honored to be here and to be able to speak to you a little bit about my own personal thoughts and memories of which as I sit and I thought about, there's so many, the one word that kept coming to mind was love. She loved to travel, she loved adventure, she loved people, she loved her family, and she just loved life. She was probably the happiest lady I think I've ever met in my entire life. Her smile could light up a room. Her laughter was infectious. A funny story, she came to visit, and I think Sam and I were both just out of college. We were in St. Louis, and we all know that she dressed very well. She was always very well put together. Her makeup was always perfect. Her clothing was perfect. She found a discount shoe store. We went shopping. We bought a lot of shoes. I still am not quite sure how she got them all home, but she claims that she did, and she was very excited to have shoes that matched every outfit that she owned. So, the other was probably the day that I convinced her to go and get a facial with me. Again, I'm 20 years old at the time. She, adventurous side of her, she does it. I don't know if it was really a facial or it was more her and I kind of looking at each other, laughing hysterically at the gunk that we both had on our faces. But there are so many memories like that of just fun-loving times with her. I could go on forever, but I was told that I could not speak for the entire hour to everyone. There is one thing, though, that Sam and I wanted to convey to you. Mom and Dad obviously could not be here because they ran into some issues with passports, but I did promise that I would read a letter from them to you. At times like this, words never fully express everything that you want to convey. If only Dad and I could be there, rest assured that you are in our prayers. We pray for comfort, peace, and peace for you and your family. It seems like only yesterday, Moitrid blessed our lives by sharing your only son with us. Out of that simple, unselfish gesture, our family became so much more than a small family of three. Kimberly gained a loving brother, we gained a loving son, and most importantly, we gained an extended family. Moitre was a very special lady to all of us. You are all in our thoughts and prayers, love, Mom and Dad. And now I'm not going to cry anymore. But with that, really today is about celebrating her life and celebrating those stories and memories that we all have. And with that, I would actually like to ask, I'll pretend to come up. And I apologize if I'm butchering names. I will be the first one to apologize, so please join me.
I'm going to read out some words by Shorut Bosmalik, who was Mashina's maternal cousin. His sister is here today. He's based in London, so he couldn't be here, but he wanted some words that he'd written to be read out. Pupu Moitre was our heart and soul, and I, for one, will miss her all my life. Not only was she a Didi, but was also a guide and an advisor whenever we needed her support. God, how will I manage the troublesome times now with Pupu not there for guidance? I imagine the whole family thinks the same way. I, as well as everyone in the family and friends, have wonderful memories of her during all the holiday trips we made to Egypt, to Spain, Portugal, the Alaska cruise, Canada, USA, Europe, China, and the 2 Himalayan trips and some others that I forget. I am enclosing some Ravindra Shungit that I have now recorded on YouTube in memory of Pupu. I bid her goodbye. May her soul rest in peace.
having obviously some technical difficulties with the audio. They are actually going to try to get that repaired. This is a beautiful song that hopefully we can get working by the end of the service today. We all know actually how much Moitray loves song. So Swarty, did I say it right? Fantastic. Please join us.
Thank you. Those of you who do not know me, my name is khjk. My premature was my Mashima, my mother's eldest sister. So I know her from the time I was born. Being the eldest, she was the guide and driving force in our family, and we were all dependent on her in some way. As a child, one is always scared of being scolded by one's parents. So it was fun to see. Hello. Yeah. So it was fun to see when my mother and my aunt and my uncle were scolded by her. And she would just say, "Why haven't you done this?" And the next minute you would see my aunts and uncles and my mother running, and they were just literally running into their tasks. Mashima loved children. Most of you know that her nickname was Poo Poo. That is the name by which everybody in the family affectionately called her. When my kids heard someone calling her that, they fell over laughing. "Mashima, your name is Poo Poo?" I was mad at them, but Mashima loved the joke and laughed the hardest at the kids' enjoyment. She was a genuinely loving and caring person, and therefore was able to touch so many lives. Even when she was not so well, she realized that I needed a proper buttered dish while visiting us in New York in March this year. And she got one for me before I got one for myself. She loved to travel and always kept in touch with everyone. Maybe that is why she made us go to Montreal first. Today we went to Montreal first before coming to Toronto, and instead of taking the direct flight from New York to Toronto. We will always cherish the fond memories that we have of your Mashima. Goodbye, Mashima. Rest in peace and always keep smiling. Thank you.
In the last few months of Moitray's life, she was in a lot of pain. And one of the things that would really soothe and comfort her was listening to her grandchildren play music. She loved that. It made her feel better. It made her comforted. And with that, I'd like to ask Mikkel to come up and play a song.
This is a letter to Pukuwondi. Dear Pukuwondi, how are you? You must be happy to see us gathered here and talking about you. How you touched all our lives so deeply. I came to England in my teenage years and you hosted a party because I lost all my contacts with my father's side of the relations. And you hosted a party so that we could get to know them. At that time, I hardly knew your name, and that was a real pleasure. Lately, I used to come to Kolkata, you remember, just to be with you and have lots of fun. We painted the town red. But Pukubuti, I want to share once more about Khalil Gibran's, what he said about death. You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? For what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is to cease breathing, but to free the breath from the restless tides, that it may rise and expand and see God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountain top, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance. Hold on, Pukubobi. We shall have a party up there soon. As you know, time has no meaning. Don't worry, I shall keep my promises. Even in the morning, as you went to the hospital, we talked about it. I shall bring Jim with Nikhil and Jatin. I shall make the meat samosa for Putu. I shall have a go at Putu's back, if he lets me. Lots of love and hugs, Nipa.
What a beautiful tribute. Jatin, would you please join me?
Even though I always called her Tama before, I've always called her Atal. Most days when I came home from school, I would always run up the stairs and jump on her bed. It caused her a little bit of pain, but she never stopped it. I think she may have enjoyed it. A good memory I have with her is when my second grade was done in school, I went with her to Sri Lanka. Then we came to me and Nikhil to India, and then she took us swimming, tennis, and she prepared my birthday for me. I will always miss her. And,
And now Devin would actually like to play the song that he often played for his grandmother. Two songs.
We knew Moitrenia, Tupubodi as I called her, in many different guises: mother, grandmother, sister, daughter, cousin, and wonderful friend. We treasured our relationships with her, treasured her for the warmth and kindness and love she poured into all she did and everyone she interacted with. But Bodhi was also a unique individual.
She was unconventional in the best possible way, a wonderful role model who demonstrated in every day of her life how to live with purpose and integrity and sheer joy. Bodhi broke many rules, but she did it with verve and style. I love the fact that she wore rich colors and rich fabrics and did not swathe herself in white as widows were supposed to do. I love the way she set out to recreate a life for herself and for Sam after losing Junidada, becoming a successful businesswoman while still maintaining all her familiar roles. I admired the skill, fearlessness, and speed with which she drove her car through the chaotic streets of Kolkata, although I must admit it terrified me. A couple of anecdotes will illustrate, I think, Bodhi's unique approach to life. The first time I visited Kolkata with my husband David, we had expressed an interest in attending an Indian music concert. Bodhi was delighted to arrange it. She took us to a rock concert and introduced us to the music of Bhumi, a Bengali rock band. It was totally unexpected and completely delightful. In 2011, we were again in India, in Kolkata, and I mentioned to Bodhi that I wanted to go to the Dakshineshwar Kali Mandir. The next thing I knew, she had rented a car and driver. Thank goodness she did not try to drive herself. Picked us up at the hotel and headed for Dakshineshwar. Unfortunately, she had forgotten a few critical things. It was a Saturday, a full moon, and a major religious festival. We noticed that something was wrong as the streets became increasingly crowded and impassable. Eventually, we found a parking spot and headed into the temple grounds, only to find 3 lines of thousands of people slowly inching their way towards the various entrances. Well, I was ready to give up, but Bodhi was having none of that. Wait a minute, she said, and went off to talk to some officials. That's what they appeared to be. Within minutes, we were being shown around the temple by a very helpful gentleman. We bypassed every line. We went in through private entrances, even managed to make an offering at a shrine. It was a wonderful visit. When we emerged, I asked Bodhi, how did you do that? And she smiled and she said, oh, I told them you were visitors from the Canadian consulate. David was a little concerned that we might be hauled up for impersonating officials. But nothing untoward happened, and we had a wonderful time. That was quintessentially Bubu Bodhi. She's irreplaceable. We will miss her enormously. Rest in peace, Bodhi.
Would you like to join me?
Hello everyone, my name is Reshmi and I'm a friend of Deepa and Sam. I will be singing a song by Tagore, named Parashmani. Tagore invokes the holy flame to purify and bless our soul and eradicate eternal darkness. The song is in Bengali.
Chubran, Ejiban, Adhare Gaye Gaye Parushtavu Sharara Bhutakara Namo Adhare Gaye Gaye Parushtavu Sharara Bhutakara Namo নয়নে দৃষ্টি হতে ঘুচবে আলো যেখানে পড়বে সেখানে দেখবে আলো বাধা মোর উঠবে জুলে ঊর্ধ্বপানে বাধা মোর উঠবে জুলে ঊর্ধ্বপানে পারুষী শুভ্রাম এই জীবন পূর্ণ করো এই জীবন পূর্ণ করো এই জীবন পূর্ণ করো।
That was absolutely wonderful. And now, actually, Sam, like you're looking forward to
coming. I appreciate everyone who has congregated here from near and far. Many of you have come from continents away, countries away, miles away, counties away. Appreciate your presence. It brings comfort to myself and my family. I would like to say a few words about the woman I used to call Ma. So I was born in 1969. Although I was occasionally told by my mother that I behaved like someone who was born in '89. And no, it was not a compliment. So my early memories of her would be in her late 20s, mid 70s. My father died when I was almost a little over 3 years old, and my mom moved to Calcutta with me following his death. I have no recollections of my father. So my mother was my father as well. So I have lost both in one day. But growing up in the mid-70s in Calcutta, I realized things were slightly different. I, for one, had no father. All my friends had fathers. And I had a mother who, like Nina said, drove a car. Her car. No other mother or woman that I could think of drove a car. Or drove rashly and flicked other drivers off. Or could change a tire. And then she worked. She was a professional. It was different in that day and age. Yet she managed to come to each and every one of my school functions. When I was in the marching band at school, my mother would be there and my grandmother would be there. My mother was a widow. She didn't act like one. She didn't dress like one. She got me nice clothes. She bought me shoes that were 2 sizes too big, and she would stuff newspapers in them. They'll last longer. I should be like the Vikings. She lived next to her in-laws at a time when most people would run away from their in-laws. And this was because I had no father figure, and she thought that by living next to them, she would find me the support that I needed. In fact, she was like Obama before Obama was Obama. She bridged both sides of the aisle. most of the aunts that you've heard here today are her in-laws. And even our vacations were different. In those days, I was a little boy, and Ma and I would just take off. And we would travel all over India, in dusty buses and noisy trains. And my Ma, she was here, and her two kids, Shashit was there, and Shaturki, it'd be two ladies, smartly dressed, and three kids in tow, and we would be all over Rajasthan and India. And at a time, this one lady came up to my mother and said, "You guys are doing all this without any men in the family?" My mother pointed to me and said, "That's the man in the family." I guess I inherited her travel gene, because I like to travel. But the biggest, my sense of how brave she was when I was 18, and I was trying to get to the United States to study. And she got a lot of flack from the family. They didn't want me to go to the US by myself. One of the family members said, "You want to be a drug dealer, or worse, a drug user." Others said, "You'll be calling every week for money." My mother asked me, "Is this something that you have thought through? Is this something that you want?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Then I'll support it." Now, go back to that time. Single woman, one child, and she lets me leave the nest. There were no email those days. Snail mail was a month away, and I'm probably as bad at communicating now as I used to be then. So let's call it 3-month letters. But that was a brave thing that I'm not sure I could do with my kids, even in a different circumstance. My mother was a nonconformist from the beginning, and she remained a nonconformist at the end. She left the party way too early, with poise and dignity, as was her way. But with most things accomplished, motherhood, check. Career, check. Singer, artist, check, check. Entrepreneur, check. Grandmother, double check. I've always felt it is easy to say goodbye and not as easy to reflect. And reflect we have over the last few days. Thinking of what was said, what was not, what should never have been. And then there are the whys, the hows, the if onlys. We have kidded about her foibles, how much of a maniacal driver that she used to be. How she continuously used to buy lottery tickets, hordes of lottery tickets. I guess she was the eternal optimist in her. How she would love to sing, but she didn't realize that she would be singing off-key, and nobody ever told her. How she had amassed more perfume than Bloomingdale's. How she favored her right profile in every picture. Yes, Ma, I made sure the pictures that I picked for your service today had your right profile. My mother got to travel to more places than I have seen. She made friends and touched more people than I will, and she accomplished more things that I can aspire to. If I had held a fresh lime soda, a favorite drink, or a nasty Moscato, I would hold it up right now. Ma, you're going to be missed. By me, by your grandkids, your friends, and your family. To you, Ma, a life well lived.
Absolutely beautiful. I'd actually like to ask the aunts. PD and
Before we start, we'd just like to say a few words.
here we are, three of us, myself, Parvati, known to all as PB for short, Neepa Devi, and Nina, she's from England, I'm from Boston, and she's from Vancouver, Canada. And we have all gathered here for this very special, special person. And we thought first we will sing a song, and we felt we were deciding what to do. We thought a Tagore song. But, you know, as you all have heard, what a person she was, what a remarkable person, and what she loved to do. And I go back many, many years with her. And as I used to call her Bodhi, I never had an elder sister, and she was one to me all the time. When I went to Kolkata, she was always there for me. I wanted to go somewhere, I wanted to dress, something or the other. She was there. She was always there for me. So, thinking about her, you know, and she loved life, she was so fun-loving. One thing came to my mind, and I was telling them that instead of singing a Tagore song, one song which I always think about her, and I used to tease her about it, was a song that she sang on her wedding night when she married my cousin Tony Dada. And it is a beautiful song in English, and we will first play it in French, and then we will try to sing it the best we can in English. Here, this is for you, Bodhi, and to your memory.
Also, Tony Dada is listening.
I sing this song is easy to explain. It tells what happens all along the bridges of the Seine. The vagabonds go there at night to sleep all their troubles away. But when the moon is shining bright, my heart wants to sing it this way. How would you like to be down by the Seine with me? Oh, what I'd give for a moment or two under the bridges of Paris with you. Darling, I hold you tight, far from the eyes of night. Under the bridges of Paris with you, I'd make your dreams come true. I'd make your dreams come true. I'd make your dreams come true. That one was for you, Bodhi. And thinking of Bodhi, always, you know, there are several things which comes to mind, and I tried to put it all together in a verse, something that I wrote, which I would like to share with all of you. Here it is to you, Bodhi. I will always remember your smiling face, such a radiant person, so full of grace, living life to the fullest in every way, through ups and downs, come what may. The years went by, but you remained the same, the gentle, quiet lady, never looking for name, a devoted mother, raising your son, through pain and sorrow, laughter and fun. She loved and respected the elders in her care, treading the path where no one would dare. A perfect traveling companion was she, admiring all that she could see. Prim and proper, so full of charm, her very presence was a soothing balm. A loving daughter, grandmother, and friend, she was there for all till the very end. For her eternal peace, let us all say a prayer, free from misery and pain, now in God's loving care. She has not left us, but she'll always stay in spirit and in memories that live on every day.
And with that, I'd actually like to open the floor to anyone else who would like to say any words or share any memories of my trip. Well, on behalf of the family, I would really like to thank you for sharing and coming to celebrate Winter's life. I've learned a lot in the last week, or really the last 24 hours since I've been here. A lot of great stories, a lot of great memories of a very, very special lady to all of us. Tomorrow there will be a puja and cremation ceremony at Forest Lane beginning at 9 a.m. The family would like to invite all of you to attend. There will be details posted out front. Thank you very much for everything.
There's some refreshments in the back, so if you